like, it's time to start a live. I just wasn't quite prepared. Just kind of like hit a button, and like it's fine. It's fine. Everything is fine because I don't even have like I'm so professional. I'm so professional. See, now I'm ready for the live. Now I'm ready for the live. I can't scoot over as much as usual because I have a peanut laying down. Oh, you can actually see her. You see the peanut. Okay. I know, I started petting you and then I stopped. How dare I? Just completely unacceptable on my part. It's a live stream. It's a live stream. It's a live stream doing the stuffs and the things and the things and the stuffs and the stuffs and the things in the live stream to do the live stream because it's a live stream because it's important to do live streams and I don't know. It's a live stream talking about the theisms and the atheisms in the live stream. I'm just going to be hugging this side of the screen for a while because I can't scoot over. Yeah, you're in the way. But I love you. So you can stay. She's just sweetly looking up at me. With attention. The kitten wants attention. So needy. Peanut definitely loves attention. She's definitely the cuddle bug, the one who needs attention. This is still bright, but it's a live stream. It's a live stream. It's a live stream. I hope anyone watching this is doing well. Hope everyone watching this is doing great, and that we're all having an amazing time. I had a pretty good day. Can't really complain too much. Not everything is great in the world right now, but like, it's alright. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. I'll be okay. I'll be okay. Everything's fine. Not really. But like, it might be. Who knows? Who really knows what's going on in the world? What is good anyway? Hi, Mama, I love you. I hope work is going well and good and how you want it to. What did I get comments about? Naturally, I'm always prepared for the live streams, as always. Hello. Always prepared with topics to talk about and stuff. I farted, cute. Always prepared. What? You're gonna distract me the entire live stream. You're gonna distract me the entire live stream. Hello. Let's see, what have I posted this week? It was The Godless Life. How an atheist such as myself can and has found morals and reason to live and purpose without a God. Good Christians versus bad Christians. Because I get a lot of Christians in my comment sections saying, oh, those are the bad Christians you're responding to. Okay. That's like a lot of the Christians that I see in the public eye. So I need you guys to be a little loud. Especially because, like, if a lot of the good Christians are upset with the bad Christians, speak up a little bit. Help me to speak up and speak out. Like, if we both don't like them. And somebody asked, because I mentioned in the video how a lot of the good Christians seem to be kind of like quiet and like in the shadows. And someone's like, oh, so your idea of a good Christian is a quiet Christian? Here's my idea of a good Christian versus a bad Christian. It's the difference between, let's say, give an example, coming up with a convincing argument against abortion to convince someone to choose not to get an abortion versus pushing for laws that take the choice away and force your beliefs on others. That's the difference. The difference is going out and preaching and having conversations and having good arguments and trying to speak out in defense of Christianity and attacking people verbally, physically, passing, again, laws, forcing other people to be Christian or supporting people who are going to force those laws. That's the difference. A good Christian does not need to be a quiet Christian, but I don't think Christ wanted them to be forceful and to exert their will over them. It's you spread the message and hope for the best. You do your best and then you let God do the rest. You spread a good message, and if they don't like it, walk away. Let them figure it out. Tell me more about what you're talking about. Just kind of general atheist versus Christian chat. Usually pretty chill live streams. If she ain't there, oh, that's cute. I'm sure you're very happy with yourself there. Pedophile jokes. Aren't they so much fun? What was I even saying? Somebody commented, you shouldn't have your ears pierced as a man. That is not allowed in Christianity. I don't care. I don't care. Why should I care? Jesus is God. I hope you find him. Well, thank you for the words of encouragement, I guess. I don't really believe in God or Jesus as God or anything like that, but I know your intentions. Your intentions seem good. Somebody made a comment the other day. I'm not gonna be able to find it, but it was basically, I think what it said was, evolutionism is the most dangerous or deadly, one of the two, I think dangerous, cult ever. Like the most dangerous cult in world history. And there's so much. Yeah, evolutionism is the most dangerous religious cult, or the most deadly, or the most harmful. Where was it? It's gonna bother me. Something along those lines, and like everything about the statement was just like, what are you even talking about? So evolution isn't a religious anything, and it's not a cult. It's not deadly. It's not. I am an atheist, yes. Who created everything? Science can't explain it, so what do you fall back on? We fall back on we don't know. We leave it blank. And just because you don't know how something works or how something happened doesn't mean it automatically must be a god. That is called the God of the Gaps fallacy. Because that mindset, because throughout history, different cultures and religions have attributed natural phenomena to gods or some supernatural forces. The seasons changing, the sun rising and setting, insect swarms, disease, all used to be attributed to supernatural things. But now we have like better natural scientific explanations for these things that don't require the supernatural. So it's just we have a long history of people saying, I don't know what this is. Which, to be fair, 10,000 years ago, If someone sees a solar eclipse, I don't know what else they're supposed to think about it. That big bright thing in the sky that's bringing light, it's going dark, and I'm scared. It must be a dark demon. It makes sense 10,000 years ago, but we have better information now. And we filled in a lot of the gaps that we used to plug supernatural things into with actual, credible, natural scientific explanations. And that's not to say that every single gap is going to have a scientific, non-supernatural explanation, but that is saying that this whole I don't know what it is, therefore it must be supernatural idea has failed us many, 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 many times in the past, where it just simply does not make sense to continue using it. So, the only intellectually honest answer is I don't know. I don't know. Until there's evidence. Until there's reason to believe that until there's an explanation with sufficient reason to believe it and sufficient evidence to believe it. And maybe one day that's going to be God. Maybe one day that's going to be something supernatural, but we don't have that evidence now. All we have is I don't know, therefore it must be God, and that doesn't work. Painting's a proof of a painter. Car doesn't build itself. You're talking about human-made things, though. Like we see humans, we see paintings, and we see humans painting paintings, and we see that we can study and observe that entire process, start to finish. We're here. We don't know that a creator exists. We can't observe the process of the creator doing stuff. So it's two very different things. So we have a lot more reason to believe in painters than we do a creator. Okay, you seem extremely intelligent. Not really. You sound like you've done a lot of research. I try. Is proof of a creator. I can observe this now. How so? Have you studied and looked into a religion? I've tried. I do nothing professional. I have kind of I have a hobby of just religious studies. I'm very passionate about religion. I like studying it and looking into it, but I wouldn't say like anything noteworthy. We do have more reason to believe in painters than a creator. Because we can observe painters. Right. If God wants to show up and demonstrate how a universe is created, he can do that. He can do that. He can do anything, supposedly. Meanwhile, there's paintings in my house that I could bring you that I've painted or that my wife has painted. Or I couldn't because I don't have the supplies readily available. I have the supplies, just not readily available. I could paint something. I'm speaking to you. This now exists proof of a creator. A painting doesn't create itself. No. But that doesn't mean that there's a creator. Just because you don't understand how something got here doesn't mean that it had to have been created. The God concept is apparently beyond your grasp, young man. Who made the painters? A long process of things, not all of which we understand. Show us the paintings you painted? I don't want to. Maybe I'll do a short of me painting a picture. But we do have painters that paint things. To be honest, the paintings are in the basement. I don't want to walk down there. But I could. You seem like you go for the most logical aspect. Logical aspect. So, some of you are new here. I don't recognize your names. You should know I can't talk properly. You should know I'm an idiot who can't read or anything. Most logical aspect. I go for what I have reason to believe. So something came from nothing. Your logic is flawed. I didn't say that. I appreciate the back and forth, and I see you're not quite getting it. Maybe. Maybe you can help me get it. Do it? No, Frank. I don't want to get the painting. But if you want, readily available, you could probably YouTube somebody painting something. Unless you want to argue that any painting in a museum just kind of spawned in. Because cars and paintings don't occur naturally. Humans have to make them. Congratulations, the largest traditional witchcraft coven in the world is the live stream of your channel. No trolling here, we just want to hear the word. Okay. Thank you for the recognition. Let's switch topics. What are your thoughts on the Middle Eastern conflict? It's pretty awful. I'd like to believe that we can solve our issues without violence or hatred or murder. I would very much like to believe that such things are not necessary in the world. Especially, I was actually thinking about this, if I may go on a small tangent. I was actually thinking about this earlier today. It's like, you would think that we've, just with the history, with the world history that we have, that we would have moved past, learned our lessons and moved past things like countries invading other countries, or religious wars, or wars over goods, but we haven't, and that's sad. Or that we've moved past solving our issues with violence, that we've moved past leaders who can't sit down at the same table and just kind of like hash things out, but we haven't. We're still doing a lot of the same stuff that humans have been doing throughout history because we don't learn, and it's sad. It's tragic that there's conflict going on in the Middle East. It's awful that there's conflict going on anywhere. There needs to be any kind of violence and bloodshed is awful, and I think it is completely unnecessary. But I'm not in charge, which is probably for the best. I wouldn't be able to run a country. What is my opinion of the woke belief of what God is? I have no idea what that means. I'm going to need you to break that down for me a little bit more. A painting is proof of a creator. Painting equals creation. Someone had to create it. Well, yeah, if you're saying that the painter is a creator, but that's not what we're talking about. When the people in the chat are saying creator, I think what we're talking about is like creator of the universe type of creator. Obviously, if somebody creates something, that would technically make them a creator. I'm a content creator because I create content. Faith is generally the catalyst to peace. Basic human nature is violent. Territorial disputes are inerrant. Yeah, but faith? How is faith a path to peace? I believe in God. Why I believe in God, who is Jesus Christ? Because he's shown billions of people, including me, that he is very real and faithful. Okay. How so? Hello, Nostalgia? I don't know what to shorten your name to. Maybe I'll just call you Nostalgia. Why is Nostalgia Nostalgia? Hello, very good to see you. Always good to see you. I can't completely explain it honestly because I don't fully understand or grasp it myself. Is it like an experience that you had with God? What are your thoughts on the imposition of transgender ideology on youth? Frank, you got a lot of just ideas, man. You just kind of do. And you're kind of just, I don't know. I'm glad you're here because I'm glad for differing opinions, but no one's trying to force transgender ideologies on youth. It's about representation. It's about saying, hey, these people exist. Because there are kids who are gay or trans or whatever who might like to have that exposure. who might, for one, like to see somebody else who's different like them, to let them know that they're not alone, they're not weird, whatever. And this is coming from someone who's non-binary and pansexual, who was raised Christian, who was supposed to be a man and told to be a man, and it just kind of wasn't who I was, and someone who was attracted to people of the same sex and opposite sex. And I didn't get representation. I got, there's something wrong with you and Satan's tempting you. So it'd be nice for the individual and just for others. So like, to hopefully support the idea of like, this gay kid's not just weird, he's just gay. Which means he's normal. He just is attracted to different people, and there's nothing wrong with that. And that more of that exposure and that teaching might bring better understanding. I think understanding is a great way to stop hatred and bigotry and things like that. And self-hatred. Yeah, nostalgia is okay? Okay. Welcome to the weird world. Take out your feminine earrings. Want to know how deep this goes? Sure. Mental health studies have proven that believing in something has a beneficial influence on a person's well-being. Well, sure. Mind over matter. Having a positive attitude, having a positive outlook, thinking that there's someone looking out for you, that there's something better, uplifts your mentality, and that does have an effect on your physical well-being. It doesn't make any of that stuff true or real. Sure, is your claim that there is no element of social contagion in the spread of trans ideology? Social contagion. There's no element of no. It's just representation. It's just saying, hey, we exist and we like rights and to not be discriminated against. Because we're still discriminated against in this country and throughout the world. And it sucks. Even though it's just, we're just different. But there's a lot of bigotry and a lot of ignorance and a lot of hatred going around. A lot of it fueled by religion. But it's not even that, it's the practice. It's the practice to focus on something other than ourselves. And that's fine if that gets the positive juices going in your brain. I have some new people in chat today, and I appreciate that. I think there's 3 of you. Hey, Dereco. I think there's like 3 or 4 of you. 4. There's some of you. There's more of you, and I haven't seen you. I haven't seen you guys before, and there's like multiple of you, and it's very exciting. Welcome. I hope this isn't like the worst live stream or creator channel that you've ever seen. It doesn't have to be the best. I just hope I'm not the worst, I guess. Despite you turning from Jesus Christ, he still loves you and would never leave you or forsake you. Whatever you went through, don't blame God. Your real enemy is Satan, and Satan has deceived you. Love you, brother. I mean, you're kind of making assumptions by saying like whatever you went through. It's kind of like a common misconception that a lot of atheists are atheists because they went through something. They were hurt by the church or someone, and that turned they're angry at God or stuff like that, and that's just not always the case. It's not why I left. You know, it's a cool, chill channel stream. Well, I know you like my content. I've already somehow tricked you into thinking that I'm a somewhat competent content creator, but now I have new people in the chat that I need to convince. Where's my mouse? There it is. My friends, that's not what my intentions are. Okay. I mean, it sounds like you have good intentions. I just wanted to make sure you didn't mistake anything. It's interesting because I grew up my whole life. I'm sorry. Skag's ignoring me. Hey, Frank. The last thing I got from you was the thing about social cognition. Sometimes YouTube doesn't send me chats. Which, can I see those? I want to say there was one live stream where I accidentally figured out how to see like hidden chats, but I don't. Maybe I'm wrong. But no, I haven't ignored a single one of your messages, Frank. They might just not be coming through. I've been there, Drew, but I have to fight against it. It's not easy. Fight your life. Be careful. I always try to be careful. Well, the Holy Spirit isn't present here. Moving on. I mean, I agree. Thank you for stopping by. I said I was a Christian since a very small child. I was Christian for the first 20 plus years of my life. Devout Christian, dedicated to the Christian God, uh, praying throughout the day, every day, for throughout much of my life, trying to make sure all of my steps aligned with God's will, thinking that I had a good relationship with God, that He was giving me signs and messages to help guide my steps throughout the day. I thought we were like this. I was absolutely dedicated, devout Christian. In fact, the main reason I ended up losing my faith was because I started studying to become an apologist. Not like, well, I wouldn't say, I went to Christian schools, so like technically like actual proper like studying, school studying, but like not like degrees or like anything like really impressive. Um, Mostly just like my own personal studying, kind of like what I do these days. Um, and it was taking that deeper dive, that deeper look at things that slowly started pushing me away from the faith, kind of looking at the man behind the curtain, at least from my experience. I know that's not what everyone is. Um, but kind of looking at the man behind the curtain and thinking like, Christianity really isn't that great, and we really have no reason to believe in a God. Religion's God has too much of man's ego embedded in him. Jealousy, vengeance, anger. Can't buy into that. This is true. Oh, damn. That was like 4 chats ago. Thanks for clearing. Yeah. Sorry about that, Frank. I don't know how to stop it. Might try rewording some of the things you say. I don't, like I said, I don't see the chats that YouTube is taking out, so I don't know what you're saying. And you might not be saying anything bad. Sometimes these social media platforms just grab words that they don't like or things that are phrased weird. There's a lot of these platforms where I'll scroll through, like I have the option to unhide comments, like the platform will hide comments and I'll have the option to unhide them. And I'll scroll through them. It's like, why did you hide this comment? Why did you hide this comment? Like, just unhide, unhide. Some of them deserve to be hidden, but like a lot of them are just like don't hide that. Why? Why? Yeah, like self-teaching. Yeah, self-teaching. Mostly, yeah. No free speech allowed. No free speech allowed on any social media platforms. Can you challenge? Remember, I can't read. Uh, can I challenge you on something? Yes, you can challenge me. You are welcome to. Frank, I still don't see any of your chats. I don't know if you've chatted yet, but I still don't see anything from you. And it doesn't help that I do talk about sensitive topics um, that not only sometimes throw around words that social media algorithms don't like, but also sometimes stir up, and this isn't you, Frank, obviously, but sometimes stir up strong emotions of like people getting angry and like saying mean things and whatnot. So like it becomes a whole mess of mixed whatevers when it comes to the comment sections and the chats in my content. So there's a lot of things, even that aren't hostile or mean or anything, that are on the topic. A lot of things like on the topic of religion and stuff get grabbed by social media algorithms. Have you read the whole Bible? Yep, a couple times. And I recently finished reading through an audiobook or listening through an audiobook of it. Because with longer books, I have a very hard time reading. My brain just doesn't like it. I get bad headaches and stuff. Um, so with longer books like the Bible, I obviously want to keep reading it and keep refreshing myself on it. So I've started listening to audiobooks of it. I'm listening to an audiobook of the Quran now, and I have read the Quran physically, and now listening to an audiobook just kind of refresh myself. But yes, I have gone through the Bible a few times. Because God died for you, and He gave us the Bible to know God. No. I have no reason to believe that the Bible is anything divine or special or anything, or that the supernatural elements depicted in the Bible are anything credible. Also, Jesus' sacrifice wasn't anything. It's like God died for you, sacrifice. Okay, so an eternal being up in heaven, great place. I hear great things about it. I'll never see it, but eternal being comes down to Earth for 30 years, 30-ish, 33 years. Has a life, just not the best, not the worst, especially once he starts his ministry. He gets some pushback, obviously. And then a very terrible day or two of like terrible execution, awful, dies. And then a couple days later, he gets back up, walks around like nothing happened, lets someone stick their fingers in his wounds like it's a party trick. And then he just like goes back up to heaven, to the wonderful place up to heaven. It's just like, I don't know. If I sacrificed myself for someone, if I died for someone, I'd stay dead. I wouldn't just get back up and just be like, look at these holes in my hands. You want to touch them? I know that's not how the story goes. I'm mocking it. But still, it doesn't seem like a sacrifice to an infinite being. And like, I'm not knocking like all the things that Jesus went through at the end there. Like, they sound horrible. I wouldn't be able to go through them, but this is also an infinite being. And then he got back up a couple days later like nothing happened. So it's not a sacrifice. I finished reading an audiobook. This brother just lies. Read the Bible twice. Next sentence says reading gives me headaches. Yeah. It took me like a year to read the Bible. Over a year to read the Bible. And I had to stop. Plus, I got a couple concussions in there, including almost a year ago today. Got a good concussion and damaged the nerves on the top of my head. That lasted like 9 months afterwards. So that was pretty rough. That did not help the reading thing. And then that whole just sensitive brain stuff got me even more self-conscious about protecting my brain and like not pushing through and like hurting it to try to read this stuff. I'm reading a book right now. I read a variety of books. I want to say that right now. I read a variety of books. Right now, I am reading God Is Not Great by Christopher Hitchens. It's the first atheist book in a slew of theist books that I've read. I like reading a variety. So don't think that I just read the atheist books. But I got it around Christmas time. And I am on page 74. If that tells you, I can read like a page or two in a sitting, and then I have to put it down. So now I've gotten to the point where like smaller books like that, I'm trying to like read through. I don't want to audiobook everything. I like actually reading stuff, but like with bigger books like the Bible, I've read it twice. I can say I've read it. Now for the refresher, let's just listen to audiobooks. Favorite verse, if you've read it, I don't know the exact verse. Because a couple different accounts, and I'm combining them. But it's the woman with the issue of blood, who touches Jesus's cloak as he's walking with a crowd pressing up against him, and she touches it and is immediately healed. And Jesus stops and goes, "Someone touched me. Who touched me?" And his disciples are like, "You have a crowd of people pushing up against you, and you asked who touched me?" And then obviously Jesus explains, I felt grace leave me. It was more than just a touch. I felt I healed someone. I felt that, and he was right, of course. But I like it's one of those verses that has a little bit like human aspect, like disciples, like when Jesus like, "Who touched me?" And the disciples are like, "So many people are pushing up against you right now. Like all of us touched you. What are you talking about?" It's that little humanity, that little like lighthearted humanity. I really love seeing. That's good. The more you read, the more you can factual arguments against it. Yeah. I challenge. Yes, your challenge. You asked. Somebody asked if there. Well, you missed a lot of details. Do you know why he did it? Uh, I'm behind in chat a little bit. Why he did what? Jesus went to hell. He did die. Yeah, but then he got back up. Challenge you to read the whole Bible again and do it with the plan, the Bible recap by Tara Leigh Cobble. No, I'm not gonna listen to somebody who might have a biased opinion. I guess I'm making assumptions. Who's Tara Leigh Cobble? Who's Tara Leigh Cobble? And is it going to be just somebody with a biased opinion trying to tell me, no, don't read it that way, read it this way, even though the text says this? He went to hell, got the keys to life and death from Satan. Revelations 1 says he is the Alpha and Omega. Okay. It's understandable. Never had a concussion, but I ain't the best reader either. I got a Bible with 2 times size text by like 1 inch. Yeah, it sounds nice, honestly. I love, because I physically read the, I actually have them here. No, I don't. Yeah, I do. No, I don't. Yeah, I do. These. I kind of flip-flopped. I've read this whole thing. The New American... Do I know where I am? The New American Bible. I've read this. The King James, I kind of flip-flopped between this and an ebook of it. And especially the King James isn't in plain English. And I was an English major. I have an English degree, a college English degree. It's the only degree I have. So, like, I've studied Shakespeare, so that made it a little bit easier to read through this. But it does not help when you have a hard time reading and you're not reading stuff in proper English. This, I read the New Testament in this, and then I listened to the audiobook of the entire thing. This is dopamine in the brain to read, because it's the New Revised Standard Version. It's plain English. It's plain English, and it is dopamine to the brain to read. I absolutely love it, because it's just, I don't know. I don't like reading. I don't like reading, which is very bad for someone who likes religious studies and is trying to like have a social media platform about religious studies and whatnot. If nothing else, listen to her recap videos of each day. Who is Tara? Because I've read like verses in the Bible that like say one thing, and I've had Christians say, no, that doesn't actually mean that. It does, though. I want someone who's not a bias, who's not trying to filter the Bible and twist it into how they think it should be read. Jesus died. When he did, sin died alongside him. Took 3 days. Sure. Look her up yourself. She goes straight to the Hebrew text and what it means. I think it'd be cool to learn Hebrew. I think it'd be cool to look at the not originals, but like the Hebrew, you know, like where the English came from, because that stuff does get lost in translation. And I don't feel like you can really truly study the Bible and like scholarly-ishly look at the Bible without reading the Hebrew. So it would be cool. He is the Redeemer. Okay. What's up, right? Someone subscribed. Thank you. The lamb that has been slain, he's alive. Okay. I don't know how to respond when people just are like, Christ is king. He's the lamb that's slain. He is the redeemer. It's like, okay, sure. I don't really believe in any of that. But like, I don't know if there's an argument there or you're just kind of like exclaiming stuff. I never really have a response to that. It's just like, oh yeah, that's what you believe. Do you have a definition of a woman? Typically, woman is someone with XX chromosomes with who produces. Well, there's a couple different definitions. By chromosome XX, by internal genitalia, it's someone who has uterus, ovaries, who produces eggs. External genitalia, I shouldn't have to fill in the blanks for you. It is typically what a biological woman would be. No worries, Jesus believes in you. Cool. Okay, nice. Why do you ask? Gotta go. Prayers for you, Drew. Thank you for stopping by. Good chatting. Hi there. Hello. Welcome to the live stream. It's a live stream. How many people see my little like ditty at the beginning of my live stream? My little like tune, my little theme tune that I do. What's your other definition about woman? Oh no, I listed off like chromosome, internal genitalia, and external genitalia. Typically different ways that we categorize a woman. So that's my other definition. So it's like the three, like, of what a biological woman. Title drew you in? Well, good. You've activated my trap card. Hello, welcome. Don't miss the rapture. I'm waiting. We've been waiting for 2,000 years. But like, it's gonna happen soon, even though we've been saying that for a minute now. Multiple generations have come and gone before us, truly thinking that they were in the end times, that they were the last generation, and that they were going to see the rapture, and then they didn't. Which I was about to say, it's a shame, but like, it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's a shame for them. I know a lot of people, like a lot of Christians, like look forward to the rapture. So like, shame for them. At least you know what most LGBTQ people ignore, so thank you for using logic. It's not really something that LGBTQ plus people ignore, but okay. What do you believe? I'm an atheist. The technology is ready for 666? Sure. Yeah, I don't... Especially when it comes to gender. I don't know if gender is what you might be confusing, because there is a difference between gender and biological sex. And while you cannot completely change your biological sex, you can alter your body to be more comfortable for you and align with your gender. Which overall increases your quality of life. The vast majority of people who are trans, who go through, who transition, are exceedingly happy with their choice and do not end up regretting their choices. But I am somebody who thinks, what does gender mean? Gender is a social construct. It's basically different trying to think of how people think, feel, and behave, and what mental aspects are assigned to which biological sex is kind of what it is. It refers to what you believe your sexual identity is. No, it's more of the mentality. But how does one know they're a man or a woman if they've never been one? You just kind of know. You just don't feel comfortable in your own body. You feel like you should be something else. I'm not. I'm non-binary, so I'm not like trans, like a trans man or a trans woman. So I can't really speak to that whole experience. But it's just who you are. You know who you are. You know your brain. You know who you are, and how you want to look and want to represent yourself based on who you are inside. What are your views on Christianity? Not a fan. Let's get metaphysical, physical. It's pretty funny. Hi, friend. I speak on behalf of myself and myself only. I understand it's hard to believe. I wrote the book, The Dark Truth of Christianity. While there is a lot of dark stuff, I still believe. Okay. And what is your experience in the church community? Good and bad. I mostly had decent people, friends and family, and churchgoers. Don't have very many bad standouting experiences. I have some, mostly like close friends and family, but like that's just kind of gonna happen. Sometimes you have friends and family that are just like, whether religion is involved or not. Um, but overall, in like the church community, don't really think I have anything to report. I encourage you to read and follow what you want. Find what is most comfortable for you. Sounds decent. You can be like, I have sufficient reason to call myself a man or a woman. It's just not like that. And I know I'm not doing a good job. I would recommend going in to an actual transgender individual who's like trans man or trans woman, and let them explain to you. Because I don't really want to misrepresent their take. It's not a feeling. You can't just be like, I feel feminine today. Correct. That's not what it is. It's who you are inside. What part of Christian beliefs turns you off? Where does it bother you? A lot of Christian beliefs these days tend to speak out against innocent groups of people and try to infringe upon people's rights, like speaking out against LGBTQ plus people, even though we're not doing anything wrong. Speaking in a manner that others, those who don't believe. Like I've commented in the past, when you're a Christian, it's like, oh, we're one big happy, family in Christ. And then like if you leave Christianity, they're like, you were never a Christian to begin with. Because if you were a Christian, you would never have left. So you were never one of us. It's just like that outcasting. This belief of you're nothing without God. You're worthless and you're nothing. This idea of blaming women for not dressing modestly when they're being assaulted or whatever. Because I got those classes in my Christian upbringing where it's like men, the boys in the class were taught if your hand causes you to sin, cut it off. If your eye causes you to sin, pluck it out. and we were taught the story of the saint whose name I really should remember, but I don't, who threw himself into a thorn bush to avoid lustful desires. And then they would turn to the girls in the class and be like, basically, you have to understand that if you're not dressing modestly, you're going to cause your Christian brothers to stumble. It's like, I don't think that's how that should work. Not teaching proper sex ed in consent, even though that limits. Teaching proper sex ed in consent is a great tool against the spread of STDs, against unwanted pregnancies, against rape, against things like that. I mean, I could go on, but there's a few. I didn't mean to go on a whole list tangent, but there's a couple. I always try not to, like, if somebody asks me something, I don't like giving them like 1,000 points to then like chew on. So I'm sorry if I put too many there. But it can be like, I have this gene, I have spontaneous in male genitalia, so I can identify in the male community. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what that sentence says. You'd be like, I have SRY, sorry gene, I have spermatozoan in male genitalia, so I can identify in the male community. I don't know what you're saying there. Just out of wonder, what is your religious background like? Have you always grown up in a Christian household? Do you tend to be more towards atheist due to current day issues or actual theology? Actual theology. Current day issues aren't helping, but actual theology. I'm talking about gender, not sex. Okay. And yeah, I had a Christian household. Sex is a spectrum based on a lot of stuff. Based on what a lot of molecular, genetic, and biological factors. Sex is usually based on whether you produce eggs or sperm, and chromosomes is usually what sex is based off of. So none of you believe in God. You believe in money and your own pleasures. There's a lot of people in this chat that believe in God. I don't know why you're yelling at them. You can yell at me. I deserve that, but you don't need to yell at others. I'm a little far behind on chat, but I think I can catch up without having to skip. You're a man and Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, if you say so. Things that happen because of a lack of God. The things in my list I got from the Bible. I think it's just personality, and people turned it into sex, gender based on social norms and interest. I might agree with you, but there's a history of gender being more complicated and there being more than two genders in like other cultures and societies throughout human history. It's been more recognized. It's not recognized in Christianity, and Christianity kind of took over a bunch of areas, but it's more complicated than that. 4 days ago, I asked Jesus to give you all bread. Jesus put bread in front of every one of you, all mankind, actually. None told about it, so enjoy going hungry in hell. Simple as that. I will? You're just yelling. I am an Allah according to Jesus Christ. When did Jesus use those terms? No time to talk, Allah. Good luck. Thanks. Anyway, back to actual conversations. If Christianity could be true as it's supposed to be, would you be Christian? No. Probably not. Hello. Do you believe morality is subjective? Pretty much. We've figured out morals and ethics throughout human history as we've learned how to work together and deal with one another. We don't have the most perfect system, but typically it's you have a better chance of survival in a group versus by yourself. And if you're working for the betterment of that group, the group thrives. And that helps the individuals in the group thrive, including yourself. So it's just smart and logical to have morals and to be good to one another. And it's also an evolutionary advantage. It's also good for self-preservation. You know, I don't want to be robbed. You probably don't want to be robbed. So wouldn't it make sense if we create and or support or be a part of a culture or society where theft is illegal to protect all of us so that none of us get robbed? Because I don't want to get robbed and you don't want to get robbed. Let's make a deal, you know? But I don't believe in objective morality. Why do you wonder if Christianity is true if you wouldn't follow it anyway? Because whether something is true or not is different from whether or not I'd want to follow it. Those are two different categories in my brain. There is a history of cultures who turn away from God and he leaves them to their reprobate minds and receive the consequences judgment of their actions. Romans 1 is as true then as it is now. Sure. It is measurable, if you say so. I sometimes wonder if Hinduism sometime in world history got the bigger stick and was able to push itself further into everybody else's business, was able to conquer and spread, if I would be arguing Hinduism right now. I do wonder that. Just a random thought. If I can read, J.R.R. Tolkien said the gospel is the most happiest ending of all possible human desires. That's a big word. Eucatastrophe. All human desires have a desire for safety and security. Okay. Sure. Hello. Christianity ultimately is the epitome of safety and security, so long as you conform. If you don't, then it's not. Hinduism isn't a single religion, really. It's a collection of pagan worship. Well, arguably, other religions are too. Let's walk away from the Christians for a second and look at the history. There are over 5,000 Greek manuscripts, the traditional language of the day of the New Testament, including the resurrection. Okay. Gender and gender roles are just sociological structures. Yes. Psychological condition, psychological disorder. No. Gender and gender roles are sociological structures. Yeah. Yes. I agree. Psychological condition, it's not psychological disorder. I wouldn't call it a psychological condition or disorder. Also, I really want to ask this. I really want to ask this question. If I identified as a trans woman and wanted to make myself look like a woman and be more like a woman, just to be more comfortable, and I was attracted to guys, why would it matter? Why does it matter? Why do you care? That's always the big question. We can argue about gender and whatnot all day long, or transgender and all that all day long. Why do you care? Let's get down to that. Conforming is believe and love. Love each other. I agree many Christians struggle with opening up, as we should. Perhaps. Drew, you are a man and will be silent at the feet of Jesus. If I meet Jesus, I'm going to have a lot of questions for him. Wouldn't really be silent. If he wants to remove my ability to speech, then yeah, I'd be silent. I might then like flip him off or something. If he removes my ability to ask questions, I think he might deserve that a little bit. It's kind of a dick move. It's cool. I think you should be allowed to do that, and at the same time, you should still be a man. Oh, but why do you? Why? What dies inside of you if I became a trans woman and transitioned? What dies inside of you when you refer to me as a woman? We don't care if you're an adult, just not children who are groomed into doing it. That's a misrepresentation. We're not grooming children. People aren't grooming children. And especially when no good doctor, no proper doctor is going to do anything, especially anything irreversible, to a child. That's not how it works. Little Timmy wants to wear a dress because she feels like a girl. Who gives a shit? Worst case scenario, little Timmy grows up and remembers that cringy time where he wore a dress for a couple of years. Whatever. But it's not until you get older and become an adult that you can start actually like changing your stuffs, when you can do the more irreversible stuff. Because if we're getting into the whole LGBTQ plus community is grooming and conditioning your children, that's just ignorant bigotry, and it's just not true. I'm sorry. No, it wouldn't surprise me if there happened to be a trans or gay person that grooms children, and it does happen, and there's a lot of straight cisgender people who groom children. I see a lot more male pastors and priests sexually assaulting kids than I do any drag queens or trans people. Anyone can do it, but it's not a trans, not LGBTQ people. All of them are after your kids. It's just not the reality of the situation. Can I ask you how long you have been saved? I haven't been saved by the Christian definition. I'll be back in a second. Okay, you're good. I'm so sorry. I struggled a lot with sexual identity and attraction 35 years ago, and it gave me so much conflict with God. I wanted to have both and tried to pursue both Him and sexuality. By the time I accepted who I was, accepted my same-sex attraction and whatnot, I was more of just a non-denominational Christian, and I figured a truly all-loving God would not give a shit, especially if that God made me like this. He truly would not give a shit because it's not actually harming anyone. So I had both the relationship with God, or what I thought was a relationship with God, and being myself. Whatever you feel like. The reason is these things are the old animal spirit, when we believe we are given a new spirit and have a true desire to serve God above all things. Yeah, I understand a lot of people, when they come to a religion or a religious set of beliefs, fixate on it. There's a lot of Muslims and pagans and Hindus and Buddhists who have the exact same experience. God the Creator says it's wrong and sinful, according to your book, according to a lot of holy books. Believe in objective reality? Sure. I mean, it's just, I like painting my nails, and I like dyeing my hair, having blonde in my hair. I haven't done it in a while because I've had nerve damage. Um, I like the tattoos I have that you can't see in that. Where are my tattoos? There it is. I like the tattoos I have. I like the ear piercings. It makes me feel more comfortable in my own body. Stuff like that. And people do that. It's just who they are on the inside, represented on the outside. And some people, who they are on the inside, is someone of a different sex than what they were assigned at birth. And while they can never change, at least not with modern science, and probably never completely change their biological sex, they can go through transitions to make their body feel more comfortable and fit what is on the inside. I hated my body, wanted to be a man. I loved a woman and didn't want to understand why God would love me and not accept my desires. I didn't make sense to me, and it felt I had nothing. Yeah. Because why would God care about stuff like that? When we make anything the center of our heart, be it anything, it means God is not center. We are not expected to be perfect, but when we are in fellowship, we do want to fixate it on what is right. And other religions do the same thing. There are other things that give that same feeling and that same result. Comfortable doesn't mean right, but what's wrong with being trans? What's so wrong about it? Why are people so pressed about it? And if you say because the Bible's against it or God's against it, you got to give me reason to believe that God is real, and that the Bible is the Word of God, and that I should care. Sex is a blessing from God. It's like a warm fire when kept inside the fireplace. It can warm up a house. Yeah, I've heard that analogy before. I'm not really a fan of it because it just kind of misrepresents and just distorts and makes sex weird. Support adult trans in biology also exists. I'm not speaking from a religious perspective. I just believe in objective morality. I'm not speaking. Okay. You said two things like 4 times there. Frank, I was just wondering where you went. I was hoping you weren't like getting destroyed by the being taken from the algorithm. I guess I was honestly just thinking like, is Frank still? I was actually about to ask, like, is Frank still here? What is the scientific basis behind this? You can claim to not have faith, but this whole trans support is pure belief and faith. It's not. I'm back. Hello. We all struggle with sin. You need Christ. Turn to Him. Believe in Him, and He will save you. Okay. I have no reason to believe in the Christian God, or any God, or Satan, or angels, or demons. I just made a video about this that I haven't posted yet, so you haven't seen it. But I have no reason to believe in any of these. I'm not saying that they don't exist, but I have just as much reason to believe in these as I do vampires. And so I'm as concerned with repenting, turning from sin, following God, finding God, all that stuff, as I am stockpiling garlic for the vampires. So, and I'm not trying to be rude or condescending. I'm just trying to help you understand my headspace. When you say stuff like you need to repent, you need to be saved, you need to go to hell, this is wrong, God says it's wrong, it's sin, it's the equivalent in my mind of saying you need to stockpile on garlic and wooden stakes and learn how to fight vampires, otherwise the vampires are going to get you. I am genuinely unconcerned. I have no reason to believe in any of it. Really just genuinely don't. keep your beliefs to yourself, please? No. When you try and change your own biology and image, you turn yourself into something you're not. It can create a very fragile self-image and can cause a lot of mental issues. Yes, but the majority of people, vast majority of people who transition don't regret it, are happy and comfortable in their new bodies, statistically speaking. So, no. I've been going live for over an hour. Should probably end the live stream soon. How these live streams work is I go for about an hour, except I don't. I pass an hour and then spend however long saying I should probably end the live stream soon. I should probably end the live stream. But I'm always enjoying chat too much, like I am now, to just like end it. But I am 10 minutes past. Probably won't go past 11 my time, Central Standard Time. It seems like you know it's true. Why would you be getting upset if you weren't lying? That's an interesting take. Maybe because I've seen the harm of Christianity. And I've seen people being discriminated against and attacked. There was just a news story that I saw of a homophobic guy stabbed a gay man to death. Guy bled out in his husband's arms. It's a problem. That's why I get upset about it. Because it's not just people saying, oh, you should turn to God. It's a whole history of violence and bigotry and hatred and pain that comes with these beliefs. And it's a lot of people defending these beliefs with no real justification for believing in any of them, but still defending these beliefs that have caused so much harm and continue to cause so much harm. Not actually questioning, not really thinking critically. That's what bothers me. That's what gets me. That's why I get a little bit upset when we have conversations like these. When is the next stream? Tuesdays. Well, every Tuesday night, usually. And if I can't, I'll post it like on the YouTube if you're like subscribed or anything, which you don't have to. But typically I plan for Tuesday nights at anywhere between, usually shortly after 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Usually shortly after that. And I usually go live for about an hour. So yeah, I do want to start doing more live streams because I love this. I love having back and forths. Because like, in a comment section I can have a back and forth, but it's so much more of a thing. And it's so much, like, if I start a debate in a comment section, that's my day. I'm regularly checking back, because I don't want to, like, respond and then come back another day or two. It's rude. I'm regularly coming back throughout the day, reading and analyzing what the person says, thinking about a response, and then formulating a response. And it just absorbs my entire day. Like, I have a job. I have a family to take care of. I can't be hyper focused on like chat, like on debates in the comment section, which is why I don't usually respond to comments. But this, set aside an hour or so to just talk. It would be so much better if I had microphones for all of you so that you could talk and weren't limited by chat, but I unfortunately don't have that. And I don't even know if I could trust everyone with a mic. Most of you seem fine. But can't just give anyone who pops into your comment section a mic or whatever. But yeah. How old am I? I am 27. I scrolled down and now I'm lost. Hold on. I did a thing. Now I'm lost. Where was I in chat? In the long term, if vampires exist, it probably won't affect you that much. But if Jesus said 2,000 years ago was actually real, then not turning to him could have some major consequences. If Islam is true and you don't follow it, that could have some major consequences. If Hinduism is real and you don't follow it, that could have major consequences. We could all die and be faced with Zeus one day. I don't know what we're going to do if that happens. God says, don't argue with fools. I don't know why you're here then. Some of these I'm skipping because it seems like they're like part of like other conversations. They're like one sentence things and I don't really know what the conversation is. I'm trying to have like multiple conversations. I'm not trying to intentionally ignore you. I'm sorry. I'm also nearing the end of my live stream and I just kind of want to get through some of these. Every human is unique as a person in they know they were born from loving parents and know they are going to die. These are universal constants for all of humanity. All going to die? Yes. Born from loving parents? Absolutely not. That is not a universal constant for humanity at all. When you are an adult, and as long as your right to do as you please is not impeding on someone else's, everything is good to go. I couldn't give a shit. That's kind of how I am. I've seen the harm in people who transitioned and modified their bodies in unnatural ways. How so? Serious question. Do you know anything about history? Like a few things. I can. One of my cats just raced in here and did like a power stance and shook off. Think about it though, without God's ordinance, people would be in chaos. How so? How so? Also, you gotta prove that it's God's ordinances. Because from where I'm sitting, it kind of looks like humans came up with religions and the ideas of gods and plugged in morality that they already had, or that they came up with, or tweaked from existing morality, and put that into their religions. So unless you can demonstrate that the laws or morals and whatnot of your religion are from a god, they're just human laws, human-made laws and religions. The things that humans have figured out. Now I'm lost. I love that we're having a lot of conversations, but there's so many different conversations, and some of them aren't talking to me. Some of them like aren't talking to me. Some of them aren't talking to me and have like a at this person, like I'm talking to this person, but some of them don't. I don't know which ones are and are not, and some of them are like one sentence things from like conversations that I was having like 5 minutes ago because I'm trying to have. So like I'm not like trying to ignore comments. Like I'm scrolling like up and down. Like what's. You said you would flip Jesus off when at judgment seat, but I know you can't give one right reason why you should. Well, in that example, because I was told that I was going to be silent at Jesus' feet. I'm not going to. If I'm face to face with the Christian God, I'm going to have a lot of questions that will need a lot of good answers before I even think about bowing. He could, I was explaining earlier, he could take away my ability to speak. And that would just kind of be a dick move. And that in of itself, I think, would warrant the fingers. I just ask you to look more into history, and I'm so sorry many of our brothers and sisters have let you down, but please do not let them give you an excuse to close your mind. Search for truth. I always am searching for truth. My mind is open. I hope that there's a God. Honestly, I'm rooting for you guys to, even the Christian God. because that's the God that I grew up with and I thought I had a relationship with. If I could pass away and be face to face with the Christian God and ask my questions and get good answers, really good answers, that would explain away and clear up all of the nonsensical mess that this world is, that'd be cool. I'd be on board with that. But I don't know. And also just the Bible itself is just kind of awful and has a lot of awful stuff. So you can only blame people who are following Christianity so much when their source material has issues. The God of Abraham is the only one like himself. There are none other who says, I am a word, or has no image except his son, and says no one can serve him. No one can serve him. Unique qualities don't give credibility to religion. It just means you have unique qualities, or that your God said something that other gods have probably said. Other gods have said that I am the special one. Throughout the Quran, it is said, sorry, try not to sneeze. It is said that Allah is the one, the greatest, the one, the true God, over and over and over and over and over. And it has unique things that are from Allah. So why not believe in Allah? That also claims to be the God of Abraham. True. You do got me there. The Allah also does claim to be the God of Abraham, which is another interesting point. How Judaism, Christianity, and Islam all worship the same God. They just go in different directions with him. What kind of authority do you think you have to tell God to do this? I'm sorry. What kind of authority do you think you have to tell God to do this thing before bowing? You think, I'm sorry, who do you think you are, man? Trying to be respectful, but saying in itself is just wrong. I've never committed mass genocide. God has, according to the Bible, committed and commanded mass genocide on multiple occasions. Just ending people's lives. Men, women, children, babies. That alone makes me feel like I'm morally superior to God. And I feel like I have the right to ask, like, hey man, when you flooded the earth and all those babies died, can we talk about that? Can we talk about that? You know, or in Sodom and Gomorrah, Egypt, you know, these people are just evil, and or the people in the land of Canaan. You know, all these people are just evil. Yeah, but what did the 1-year-old do? What did the 2-year-old do? You know, just don't even give them a chance. I have serious questions because I care about other human beings. And the idea of just wiping a bunch of them out just seems a little bizarre to me, especially when it seems to be one of God's go-tos in the Bible. Just seems a little bizarre. And among other teachings. I'm trying not to get too deep into like any other discussions right now because I do want to end the live soon. I don't know. I am happy. A lot of times I find myself thinking like, why wasn't chat this active like the first 20 minutes of my live stream? But like it was. It was pretty active throughout the whole thing. So thank you all for that. The other religions are not like that one. Not like, sorry, not like that one. And in all of history, the Bible is the oldest and most complete, except for fragments. No, I'm sorry, there are religions that have been around longer than Christianity, like Judaism or Zoroastrianism or Greek. I mean, Christianity is only 2,000 years old, unless you want to piggyback off of Judaism. But even then, there's other things, and there's belief systems that have come and gone in the time since that have come and gone throughout human history. Going off my last comment, you said you wouldn't be a Christian even if it were true. I believe that says a lot about the conditions of our hearts, as we all have denied evidence to fulfill our own desire. I follow the evidence where it points, whether I like it or not. The evidence just isn't there for Christianity. And then when I see God committing mass genocide and murder being one of his go-tos, I'm not. It's not a definite no, but I would have a lot of questions that would need a lot of good answers. I may have seen your last comment. I may have not seen your last comment. There's a lot going on in my chat. Oh, it is past 11. Okay, well, with that, I do think I will have to go. I would love to keep seeing you guys in future live streams. I do live streams usually every Tuesday night, sometime after 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I want to try to start squeezing other live streams in here and there. But that's going to require a lot more work and moving stuff in and around in my schedule and stuff. So it might happen, it might not. I don't know, but I would like to, and I'm going to see about that. But I would be happy to chat with any one of you further. Haven't unsubbed yet? Solid. And thank you for everyone who came in and interacted. This is a very active stream, and I really, really liked it. And I like that I've been saying that in a lot of my streams lately. Like the past several streams have just been good. Just, chat, doing a lot and talking a lot. Live for almost an hour and a half. About an hour is usually it's once I hit that hour mark, I start thinking about maybe I should end the live stream. I had stuff that I wanted to do tonight. I was thinking about maybe ending about the hour mark and taking more of my night, but if that tells you how much I was enjoying this live stream, even though, because we're talking about something serious and something that means a lot to people, so I might not at every point seem like I'm enjoying it, but I very much am, and that's thanks to all of you. You guys made this live stream a thing. When am I going to make a stream for deeper conversations? Any stream. If I ignore like half the chat, it's really hard to have deep one-on-one conversations with these streams unless I've developed some kind of call-in system, which I wouldn't even know where to begin with that. But yeah, I could try. There have been times in the past where I've tried coming in with like a topic and like, let's dive into this topic. But I always yield to chat. I always want to interact with chat more than I want to sit here and tell people. Where did my brains go? Just tell people what I think and whatnot. I like having different chats and whatnot. Discord and StreamYard, yeah, it's just one thing I like to keep my conversations in the public eye. Private conversations can go a lot of different weird ways. I like to keep my conversations more in the public eye. And having it on stream, like some of you who have been here for a minute, I think I can trust to give you a mic. But I can't just, like, I don't have like a call screener, to go through and like see if somebody's safe or not. And then even then that fails sometimes, which happens. But like, I don't think I have the ability to like make it work good and fair and be something good. So, but not something I'm opposed to. I just have no idea how I'm going to make that work properly. Debate on mic on live stream would be a good idea. Like, I love watching like call-in shows like The Line or the Atheist Experience, or Talk Heathen, stuff like that. That's great. But that's a team of people that they have behind the scenes. It's not just the people sitting in front of the camera. So I don't have that team. I don't even have. I have one moderator, which is my wife, who's usually working and like kind of listening in as I'm doing the stream, so she can't really moderate. So it's just on me, just with chat. And then if I'm trying to like, I don't know. And then if I'm having a one-on-one conversation with someone, because I used to do it on the TikTok live streams, I would have guests, and then I would just ignore chat. It's like they have the phone, they have the floor. The person I'm speaking to has the floor, so like I would just ignore chat. There's other people in chat who like want to talk and have conversations that I would like to. Hence why I was sitting here trying to juggle multiple different conversations and failing. But yeah, I don't know. Nostalgia, tempting to have you as a moderator. I just don't know you personally, because I gave moderating powers to a couple people in TikTok, including people who have been um, in the chats and in the live streams for a while, and then it was just a disaster. So I need people I know better. But yeah, I do have a Discord. It's not really up and functional, and I haven't. What's am I looking for? I haven't advertised it in any way, shape, or form because I'm just scared of having to monetize it. But yeah, and especially as the channel grows, I'm gonna have to grow with it and develop with it. So it's definitely bridges that I want to cross at some point. I just don't know. I'm just one dude who doesn't know what he's doing. That's it. That is it. That is all. You got one. I'm just a dude. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate anyone who even stops by the live even for a second. I'm nobody. I don't like deserve your time or whatever. So anyone willing to listen to me for any amount of time, especially if anyone chats or likes or even just lurks and sits. I know I have some people who just watch these streams who don't interact. I love you. You're great. And I'm very happy because I don't. You don't even have to do that. Or people who subscribe or whatever. It's greatly appreciated. Any amount of support or whatever. So thank you all so much for being here. And I hope you all have an amazing night and maybe see you all next week or at some point. So, bye.